On to the next. 1 heart by us, take out double on our left, and East eventually bids 2 clubs. We get to 4 hearts. King of diamonds lead. Yep. We don't have very many dummy entries. I am becoming very aware that our dummy entries are quite lacking. Okay. So, first things first, we do need to rough this trick. If we don't rough this trick, West can just switch to like the king of spades and we're gonna go down, we'll lose a spade. So, yeah. Sometimes these hands are a little bit easier than some of the other ones, like the previous board where their solution is blatantly wrong and they should feel bad about it, because we're going to need a lot of specific things to go right, and we can very quickly narrow down the target of the opponent's hands to what we're going to need from them. Like, to make our contract from here, we're going to need to be able to get over to that ace-king of clubs and dummy. Well, how can we do that? We want to strip West of trumps and lead a spade towards the jack. Hold on this one, their solution might be wrong as well. Oh no. Well, that's okay. We'll take a look. I mean, I'm still gonna try and come up with the right line of play. So, I mean, West has made a takeout double of hearts, and I think it's worthwhile noting that East has bid 2 clubs and not 2 diamonds. If we knew that West only had 3 diamonds, right? Like they've played the ace, king, queen of diamonds, very possible for their takeout double to only have a 3-card diamond suit. Then we could just pull all of the trumps and then lead a low spade. And if West ducks, we'll put up the jack. We're going to need West to have the king, queen. That would give us an entry to dummy to bitch spade losers on the ace, king of clubs. If West splits their spade honors, though, we play low, and West is going to be down to only black cards to lead. But I don't think that's what's going on, or at least that's fairly unlikely, given the 2 club bid. If East had 5 diamonds, which would be necessary for West to have only 3 of them, I mean, East might have done something else, not necessarily just bid 2 clubs. Yeah, a problem where you'd have to play for a singleton heart 10 for a stepping stone would be clever, and I can't think of a layout with like this type of distribution where that would be necessary, but it is cute to think about that idea. But anyway, what I was saying is that for that reason, I think West has another diamond, and that means if we ever strip dummy of trumps, West will just be able to save that diamond trick or that diamond card for an exit when we lead a low spade later. So for that reason, I think we can only pull 1 round of trumps. We're going to need West to have a singleton heart, and now we lead the 2 of spades. And hopefully West is end played into giving us an entry to dummy. They are. We can now cash the ace of clubs, pitching our spade loser, and pull the remainder of the trumps. So I think that was the right solution to this problem. Maybe there's some alternative plan that I didn't fully see, but yeah, based on the auction, it just seemed more likely than not that East had fewer than 5 diamonds, and therefore we needed to preserve the possibility of a diamond exit from West, giving us a rough slough to gain a dummy entry. Yeah, it would have been good if you needed to follow through on the singleton heart inference. Sure, they could have given us ace, king, queen, 10, 7th, but I think that might have given the problem away a little bit, right? I actually like the way they set this up, where they're like, hey, look at you, Declare, you have 9 trumps and you have all of the ace, king, queen, jack, just pull trumps, it's very easy. do that and then execute the throw-in. And also, Brad, worthy to note that on that layout, a rough sluff and diamonds would sink the contract. Yeah? I guess it would be ace, king, jack, 7th, right? Yeah, a rough sluff would beat it. Of course you know. I know. I'm just much slower than you are. It takes me a while to catch up to your trolls sometimes. But yeah. It is a cool idea, though. I like it. 2 spades by West. Pass, 2, no trump. Pass, 3, no trump. 8 of spades lead. Well, we got 7 tricks immediately. We have the ace, king of clubs, the ace, king of hearts, and the ace, king of diamonds, as well as the spade opening lead giving us a trick. So, I mean, first things first, we're going to play the jack of spades at trick 1. I mean, this is for a variety of reasons, but first of all, like, what if West has led from ace, queen, 9, 8 of spades? If we play low, we're going to be forced to win the king because East will overtake with the 10, and we can't afford to just let them run the first 6 spade tricks. And I think we're going to want to isolate the spade threat in West's hand if that's the case. In a variety of cases. I mean, West could have been leading from... I'm not sure. Anyway, we're playing the jack of spades. Okay, good start. Good start. Now what? Is this another one of these dumb problems where it's like the only extra holding we can pick up is singleton queen of diamonds with West, as long as we lead diamonds from our hand first? It might be that. Let me think. Let me think. Because I see that possibility, right? So to follow through on what I'm saying, it looks as if diamonds is our best source of extra tricks, right? We now have 7 tricks that we can take: the ace, king of diamonds, the ace, king of clubs, the ace, king of hearts, and the spade that we've gotten. We know West has the ace, queen of spades, and if East ever gets in, we're going to be going down. But we can actually pick up some other holdings if East, for example, has queen 4th of diamonds, we might be able to pick up a 3-3 heart split, kind of similar to one of the previous hands. What was it, board 15, where we have this heart, or this club situation, where if we repeatedly lead up towards the king of hearts, I mean, maybe West has like queen jack 3rd or something. I suppose that's unlikely. Well, I'm not seeing anything immediate. I mean, obviously we do want to play on diamonds at some point, and I guess we're going to take this small extra chance of heart to the ace and a low diamond. Look at that! We can now duck the queen of diamonds, win whatever return, and now we just have enough tricks with that singleton queen popping up. So if we'd cashed the ace of diamonds, I mean, we would have scored 3 diamond tricks, but we would not have been able to come to a 9th trick. At least I expect not. Small extra chance. Not a huge fan of those types of problems, but when you see it and you kind of work out that you have some small extra possibility, it does help. If you're getting those somewhat frequently, then you're probably going to earn yourself an extra half match point here or there in some places. All right, we've preempted 2 spades, partner bids game. get the 6 of hearts lead. Okay. This is something that we haven't seen yet in this series, and I think this is a cool concept. I've never seen it happen at the table. I mean, sorry, let me rephrase. I have pulled off this concept at the table a number of times, but I've never not done it and had the opponents do the right thing. And I've never been on defense and had an opportunity where I declare either made a mistake or like I had the correct layout of the hand and knew to do the right thing at trick 1. So we look at this hand. We have 1 heart loser after the opening lead. We have a club finesse and a spade finesse to take. Well, the diamonds will run eventually if we can pull trumps. So as long as we can keep West off of lead, we'll be able to take the spade finesse into East's hand, pull trumps, and then run the diamonds to pitch all of our club losers, while preventing East from scoring 2 club tricks. But think about what happens if we play a low heart at trick 1. People don't really underlead aces, or at least certainly not in these teaching things. They're not going to be underleading the ace of hearts. But West could just as easily have the heart queen. And if we play a low heart at trick 1, a clever East might stick in a middle heart spot. We'll be forced to win the king, otherwise they'll score 2 heart tricks. And now West queen of hearts will be an entry to West's hand. So is there anything we can do to avoid that problem? Well, yes, there is. We can actually put up the jack of hearts at trick 1. Now if the jack of hearts had held, we would be able to safely cross to our hand in diamonds and try the spade finesse. Or I suppose, you know, if we're afraid of crossing in diamonds, we could try and ruff a heart to get over to our hand. But when East plays the ace of hearts, they don't have communication in the heart suit anymore. So now we're completely safe to just win the second round of hearts. Can't get back over to West's hand. East, good decision, East, cashes the ace of clubs before exiting. I actually haven't seen them do that very often. They haven't been cashing out when they realize they're dead. They give us like the final test of like, do we cash our top tricks or not? So, I mean, this is, I would say, a concept that I've noticed quite often. It comes up with this jack opposite king, and they leave the suit, where you want to play the jack to cut communications. But again, maybe it's just somewhat impractical, because even if East has this holding and kind of works out that it's possible, for starters, Declarer might just have singleton king, right? And Declarer might have like a small doubleton diamond. So it might be best for you to win the ace of hearts, play back the suit, declare ruffs, and then they go like ace king of diamonds and take a ruffing finesse against you. Your partner gets in, plays a club through, you know, beat the contract like 3 tricks or something. That's possible. But anyway, on to the next one. We are in 4 spades after West opens a no trump. We get the king of diamonds lead. I guess quick count of points, East can have at most 1 jack. So East has, you know, maybe the jack of diamonds, maybe the jack of clubs, but West has everything else. All right, king of diamonds holds. East, being very friendly, shows us their 1 high card immediately. All right, king of diamonds, ace of diamonds. I mean, it looks to me like the safest plan is to discard a club on this trick. I'm just thinking. The risks in discarding a club is West might have 5 clubs. Possible. And then West can switch to clubs, get in with the ace of spades, and give their partner a club ruff. So what's the alternative, right? Because if we're only going to be going down when clubs are 5-1 on this line, then the alternative better be pretty good. I guess the alternative is to ruff this trick. We then unblock the ace of hearts. We play a spade over to dummy. And then we start running hearts, pitching clubs. So what happens if West can ruff the third round of hearts? Spades would also have to be 4-0, right? Because if West roughs the third round of hearts, that's okay. We can then use the third spade to get to dummy that pulls all the trumps, and then the hearts run. Which is pretty close, right? Like a 4-0 spade split only happens 10% of the time, and there's only one possible 4-0 split. East can't have 4 spades. That would give West a spade void for their no-trump opener. And let's be real, West is not from New Zealand, so they can't really have a void. Okay, but let's just see. So if we ruff, oh no, spades could be 3-1. We only have 2 trumps in dummy. Never mind, scratch what I said. That feels way more likely to be the case than 5-1 club. So I think it has to be right to pitch a club. This is gonna give us some control of the hand. So if West had continued another diamond, we would have pitched another club, ruffed in our hand, you know, unblocked the heart ace eventually, and then gotten back to dummy in spades. Like this. But now we can pull the last trump and enjoy all of our hearts, or at least 3 or 4 of them. Hearts were 2-4, well, with West having a doubleton, so that meant that our plan was important, at least on this layout of the cards. I'm not really sure how to describe like the technique here. I mean, it's, if you have a suit in a hand with short trumps that you plan on setting up or that's like already established, sometimes you want to prevent ruffing in that hand because you'll need the trumps as entries after you've pulled the trump suit to get over there, and that's basically what we identified on this one. All right, on to 20. A spade double by West, take out. Partner redoubles, East bids 2 diamonds. Now the opponents are silent. We get to 4 spades. They lead the king of hearts. Well, this auction's illogical. The opponents have 10 diamonds and only bid to the 2 level. Like, either West should be raising to 3 diamonds or East should have made a different bid on the first round. But anyway, we'll roll with it for now. So king of hearts, opening lead. I assume they're going to get a heart ruff. And the 10 of diamonds comes back. Okay. This hand looks to me like we're going to be able to play on the lines of play of like a strip, or not a strip squeeze, a show-up squeeze is what this will be called. So we don't really know if the queen of clubs is on side. We expect it to be. There was a takeout double, right? But East just as easily could have queen doubleton of clubs. What we are somewhat certain of is that West has the diamond king. Doesn't have to, but at least that will give us a little bit of an extra opportunity to utilize this queen of diamonds in dummy as like an important threat card. So we're going to start by pulling trumps. And for clarity, we'll just cash 1 round of clubs right now. I mean, this isn't relevant, but we may as well. Because that will reduce the end position to something that we're pretty familiar with. So we can pitch the 10 of clubs now. West has thrown one of the cards in that suit. And now that West has thrown another club, we can get rid of the queen of diamonds from dummy. And when we lead a club, we're no longer going to take the club finesse. We're presuming West has the diamond king for the takeout double, so we'll just go up with the king of clubs and then continue the jack. To pick off the queen doubleton of clubs with East. This is a useful kind of squeeze technique where you're not really gaining an extra trick. If we knew the layout of the East-West cards, we would have been able to score 4 club tricks on our own. But we're gaining a little bit of information. As long as you're somewhat confident that a specific player has an honor or a guard in a suit in which dummy has a threat, or your hand, you know, depending on where you're running a suit through them. So the Queen of Diamonds here being that important card, we just kind of suspected that West has the King of Diamonds for the takeout double, and that allowed us to play along the lines of this show-up squeeze. We could have been doing the wrong thing, right? It's very possible that West's shape was actually 1-4-3-5. That would have given East 7 diamonds, though. And so then we would have needed to take the club finesse in the end position, but feels like East might have done something different with the 7-card diamond suit. Anyway, on to the next hand. West opens a heart. East bids 2 hearts. Partner has made a takeout double, and we get to 5 clubs. We get the King of Hearts opening lead. Okay. This looks oddly familiar to... Where was that hand? To board 13 a little bit, doesn't it? We have this possibility of ditching a heart loser on like Ace, Queen, 4th of spades opposite King, 10, 9. Okay, let's think for a second though. So Well, on the surface, I mean, we have no spades and no diamond losers. We do have a heart loser, and we will be losing the ace of clubs. We can pick up 4-0 club splits. I mean, technically in either hand if we got to look at the opponent's cards, but realistically, we can only pick up a 4-0 club split in East's hand. So if West has 4 clubs, given that they've already opened a heart, I don't know, let's see if West has 4 clubs before we think about doing anything. So we'll lead a club to the Queen. Of course they do. Okay. Now what? Because now... I mean, if spades are 3-3, we can play 4 rounds of spades pitching a heart. And we'll make the contract. West did open a heart, yeah? Okay. These aren't 4-card majors. Hasn't been alerted as a 4-card major. I mean, it wouldn't really help us. Because another suit that this looks somewhat like is the hand from a couple days ago where we were in no trump, but we had kind of the same layout, and the objective there was to strip all of the side suits and then like lead a low to the king. And West could win the ace, but then be end played into leading away from their 10. Unfortunately, West can't have enough cards where we can play 3 rounds of spades, ruff the 4th spade as West follows, cash 3 rounds of diamonds, and then exit a heart, which, effectively would be this plan. West would have then needed to have started with the 5 hearts that they promised on the auction, 4 clubs that we now know about, 4 spades, and 3 diamonds. That's like 16 cards. So I guess that's not happening. I don't know what else to do other than to play for 3-3 spades. Do I want to guess that diamonds are 7-0? Just because West didn't lead a diamond at trick 1 and they led a heart instead, that seems like a very, very loose assumption, and I don't think a very good one. I mean, if that's the case, that would change my plan in the spade suit, because then West would be marked with 5-4-4 shape. Flannery would lose you this hand if you were east-west. West showing 5 hearts and 4 spades. We could then play a spade to the king and run the 10 on the way back, using the jack of clubs as an entry to get back over there for the 4th spade. I don't know. I mean, it feels like I'm just going to cash 3 rounds of spades and they're going to tell me I'm wrong and I'm not going to have learned anything. So I'm wondering what the alternative plan is. I don't know. I guess let's try it. I am wrong. Look at that. I haven't learned anything because I don't really see the alternative line of play. What am I missing here? Oh. I think this is a dumb problem. I've said that a lot. I think they basically want you to say that there's no chance when West has 4 clubs. But we came up with a legitimate chance, right? West could have 3 spades. No one's saying they can't, right? But if East is the one who turns up with 4 clubs and we guess the club suit wrong, then we are more likely to still be able to make the contract. So I think what they want us to do is lead a low club to the king, and that's going to require us crossing to dummy somehow. It's got to be in spades. I don't know. Well, let's cross in diamonds. So technically we can pick up the club suit at this point if we can get back to South's hand enough times. And to do that, it's best for us to take a spade finesse. Okay, yeah, I really don't like this problem. I'm curious what they say about it, but I don't... I don't know. Let's take a look. What does their solution say? Alright, West leads the King of Hearts against 5 clubs. Great. West heart lead has created a heart loser. No reason to duck the opening lead. We have to lose the ace of clubs. South's only concern is that one opponent has all 4 outstanding trumps. If East has 4 clubs, South must play the Queen or Jack on the first round. Yep. South can later take the Mark Finesse against the 10. If West has all 4 clubs, South must play the King of clubs immediately. West wins the ace, cashes a heart, and exits in diamonds. South is going to need 2 hand entries. King of spades is readily available. South has to finesse the Jack of spades, of course. Sure, yep. Oh. Did I not count high cards? I saw both opponents bid, and I was just like, oh, of course East could have the club ace. Hold on a second. What was the auction? A heart, double 2 hearts. Oh my god, what a horrible 2 heart bid from East. I am really not paying attention. Well, I get a tally mark for not realizing that West must have the club ace. So that was silly. I could have just led the King of clubs out of hand at trick 2, I guess. That would have been one way to do it. Probably the best plan. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Very good. What a 2 heart bid, though. I mean, anyone who bids is going to bid 3 or 4 hearts on East hand. No one's going to show that as a constructive hand with 1 high card point. Trump length and a void. Okay, I don't feel so bad, but I also feel really bad for not counting high cards. On to board 22. 2 clubs by South, 2 no by West, 3 spades by North. What is 2 no? Is 2 no the minors, I guess? 2 clubs was strong. 2 clubs was strong? Hold on a second. This is what passes for a strong opening bid nowadays? Okay, okay, yeah. I see you. Well, so now what? We have the Jack of Hearts opening lead. We have 9 trumps between us. West has showed both minors. Okay, hold on. I see possibilities. I think all of them are going to require that Queen of Hearts maintain and dummy, though, as a potential entry. So let me think, how do I want to go about this? I mean, the King of Clubs is likely to be offside, given the 2 no trump overcall. And West is also likely to have the diamond ace. I don't see any squeeze that we can pull off. I mean, it almost looks as if we might be able to pull off some sort of strip squeeze against West, but we don't have enough tricks. We have 7 hearts, an 8th trick in spades. We could like lead a diamond to the queen to get a 9th trick, and we have a 10th in clubs, but strip squeezes, or at least this kind of strip squeeze, would require us to have 11 tricks, right? Like if we had the king of spades and 1 fewer club in our hand, that would kind of be our line of play, is to play this hand as a bit of a strip squeeze against West. But what I think we can do is if East has the king, queen of spades, we might be able to... No, I guess not. Okay, let me think about this again, 1 second. There are some types of squeezes that can work if we just start running a long suit before touching any of the other side suits. Let me think if that's potentially possible. You think on the second trick, South is going to play the 1 or the 2? I'm actually now considering winning the Queen of Hearts and just running trumps. Let me think how that's going to work. So, it's not immediately obvious to me what type of squeeze we can work towards, but now that I've been looking at this for a while, I don't think we can set up spades. Even if I can get over to North with the Queen of Hearts and Queen of Diamonds, I can take 2 roughing finesses and set up the spade suit, but I'm gonna I don't have a third entry to get back there. So I think that plan will work if West has a singleton spade honor. And that line of play would look like we win the ace of hearts, we cash the ace of spades as West drops their honor, and we lead the 2 of diamonds. It doesn't help West to go up with the ace. Oh my god, maybe it does. They go up with the ace and then just play back a diamond. We get an extra diamond trick, but we have no real squeeze. Okay, alright, let's ignore that plan, which I guess does mean that we really should be just running trumps. So how's this gonna work? We play off 7 rounds of hearts, and let's say we just pitch spades from dummy. We come down to 6 cards in an end position. West can hold on to King Doubleton clubs, Ace, Doubleton of diamonds, and a Doubleton spade. What? So I don't think that works either. Maybe I need to have very specific layouts. You wish it was an illusion and the club king was just on side? I mean, we're getting there. we're getting to the king of clubs being on side as our best chance. What if West does have this presumed singleton spade honor? I think I can make the hand then. If West is 6-5 in the minors with a singleton spade honor, and a singleton jack of hearts, I can win the ace of hearts, cash the ace of spades as West drops an honor, and lead the king of diamonds out of hand. If West ducks, let's do it with the easy case first. If West wins this trick and plays back a diamond, we can win the queen, take a roughing hook and spades, cross to the queen of hearts, run the spades pitching clubs, eventually rough back to our hand to pull trumps. If West wins the king of diamonds with the ace in that line of play, if West ducks the king of diamonds, now we've scored an extra trick. So we can now cross to the heart queen, take a roughing hook and spades to effectively set up a large number of winners in the dummy, and then run all of our trumps. We come down to a 4-card end position, but one where West just doesn't have ace spades remaining. and then we'll just lead a diamond up towards the queen. West will be effectively end played into giving us the club finesse or giving us access to a bunch of winners in the north hand with the queen of diamonds and a bunch of spades. We will need to carefully count West's hand, though. I'm realizing like another issue on that line of play. We're going to have to carefully count West's hand. But we'll get to that if that's actually the plan. So what does this need? This needs West to have a singleton spade on her. And if West doesn't have a singleton spade on her, I guess we basically just give up and try the club finesse because I can't think of an alternative plan. Okay. I don't know. These B-level deals have definitely felt a little bit more difficult than the A-level deals, or the A package deals, whatever you want to call them. I think I'm going to try for this. Look at that, singleton spade on her. We might be on the right track. So now we go king of diamonds. Okay, West wins the ace, which makes things easy. Oh. I should have played a heart to the queen instead of leading the king of diamonds first. Because now West is going to rough this trick. Fine, 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 fine. All right, we did everything right, but we didn't pull a second try. It's all good. Ace of spades. I was not being particularly clever about how we approached it. Okay, now we've set up the spades, and so now we can play the king of diamonds. West has to duck. I'm sorry, I have not been paying attention. What did West discard? They pitched a club, right? I think they discarded club. Right. So we will run our trumps. Is that true? Maybe I don't even need to run trumps. Maybe I can just like lead a diamond to the queen right now. That's probably an easier plan. Okay, hold on. The squeeze still works if I run my trumps, but we have to be very careful about counting out West's hand. I don't think we should play for it. Let's just lead a diamond to the queen. And now West is then played into giving us access to dummies stranded winners. Okay, 12 tricks. I was overcomplicating it with the possibility of running trumps at this point. I guess this really wasn't a squeeze after all. It was just like timing the play a little bit. Well, ooh, you know what? I bet the squeeze actually doesn't work. The 5 of clubs is an important card for East to have. You know, I guess more relevantly, the 2 of clubs is a really bad spot card for us to have. Anyway, exercise for a different time. But kind of a cool hand. I don't know. I mean, it's like, can you come up with any layout of the cards where you make it and then remember to pull trumps? I forgot the pull trumps part. That was the thing that we missed. Deal 23. We've opened 2 no trump. Partner has bid 3 now. We get the queen of spades lead. All right. So yeah, so what's the plan? I mean, it looks natural to duck the opening lead, try and cut communication a little bit in the spade suit. I haven't figured out what to do with the diamond suit yet. Obviously, if diamonds are 3-1, we're in, like, okay shape. I think we want to lead the 2 of diamonds to the 10 on the first round of the suit, but let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I'm not sure on this one. My thinking is, if we are able to take a diamond trick, then we can kind of fall back on the club finesse if the diamonds don't work out for us. You don't think I'll make it if I don't play to trick 1. I believe you're right about that. Okay, first things first. I mean, I can afford to lose a spade, a club, and 2 diamonds, so I think it's safe to duck the opening lead. So let's do that. They switch to hearts. Kind of annoying, but that's fine for now. Oh, this is not fine, right? Now I'm just going down when diamonds are 2-2. I did not think this through very well. I'm still worried about not ducking the opening lead, though. Spades could be 5-2. Well, either way, I think this we've already messed up. I didn't realize that our heart switch was so devastating until I saw it on the table. That is very punishing about these things. So we do need to win the opening spade lead. I honestly did not consider them switching to hearts. My entire calculation here was I have 3 heart stoppers and only 2 spade stoppers. So a heart switch is perfectly fine. Okay. But now I think we should play a diamond to the 10. Let me think, because, I mean, we have a couple of possibilities, right? We could lead the jack of diamonds out of hand, or we could play a diamond towards the 10. So leading the jack of diamonds out of hand is going to be better if someone has a singleton honor. I guess specifically if West has a singleton honor. No, either one of these is going to work. The reason I want to lead the 2 of diamonds to the 10 is, like, if West has ace king third and we lead the jack, they can just duck. So I think a diamond to the 10 protects against that holding, and leading the jack doesn't. Okay. Now we have an extra dummy entry to try the club finesse, then I think we should do that. Like, technically we should exit a diamond here, just in case the suit is 2-2, which I doubt it is. But now we can try the club finesse with our extra heart entry. And take 9 tricks. Yeah, the way to identify what's going on here is, it's not so much about the diamond suit, right? We're either going to be able to score diamond tricks or we won't, as long as we preserve that ace of hearts entry. It's the fact that we have 2 club finesses we want to take and only 1 dummy entry. So if we can kind of score an extra diamond entry to the dummy, that'll be good for us. And that's why this idea of leading a diamond to the 10 came to me. On to 24. So I did the hard thing right and the easy thing wrong. What if diamonds are 2-2 and the club finesse is wrong? Well, it's still okay unless spades are 5-2 and the player with the ace of diamonds has the long spades, right? Also, they would have needed to duck a diamond with ace doubleton opposite king doubleton, which, you know, could that have happened? Maybe. But, I mean, that would be a pretty big stance for them to take. And regardless, I mean, if that's the layout, they can always beat me, right? The player who has the doubleton diamond with the doubleton spade could just win the first round and continue spades. So, I mean, that's one of the layouts why I wanted to duck spades, right? Like, if spades were 5-2, that is one of the scary layouts where it would be important to duck the first round of the suit. I just didn't really consider the devastation of a heart switch in that case. We are in 3 no trump now. And we got 1 spade, 2 hearts, 2 diamonds. We're going to need 4 club tricks to make this. We're also going to need to prevent West from ever gaining the lead in clubs or in whatever. So let's duck the opening spade lead. There's no chance West is preempting with a 5-card spade suit, right? We'll win the second round of spades. I'm not sure I even understand this problem. I mean, I guess the scare is that East could have singleton king. Let me think about this for a second. I have no idea what that means. Whatever you just typed. Planning the play consists in fix with the 12 cards. Fixing. Okay, planning the play consists in fixing the blunder that you made on the first trick with the remaining 12 cards. Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, I think the idea on this hand is that we could cash the club ace, right? And I think that's ultimately going to be our plan, is to play the ace of clubs. That way we guard against West having a singleton king of clubs. But we can also guard against East having a singleton king of clubs by leading a club up towards the ace-queen. And if East plays the king, we can duck. We are going to go down if clubs are 4-0. But I guess the singleton king of clubs, which is 1/4 of one specific 3-1 split, is more likely than the 4-0 club split. I'm actually not sure that's true. Hold on a second. I mean, mathematically, that is not true. Now, maybe we would make the argument that if West really had king, queen, jack, 10, 6 of spades, and a club void, they would preempt 3 spades. I know that's not what's happening here. That they always have the right number of cards for their preempt. Well, singleton king in either hand is 12.5%, right? But we're only gaining against singleton king in East's hand by crossing in diamonds, for example, and leading a club up. Like singleton king in West's hand, we're always picking up by just playing the ace on the first round of the suit. And I think it's just like far more likely that West has short clubs than East does, given the 6-2 spade split, as well as the fact that it's far more likely East has the club king, given the preempt. I really don't know, but I guess I'll illustrate what they want us to show off on this one, which is that we do want to cross to a red ace and lead a club and duck when East plays the king. I think this is a reasonable line of play, but I also think if East plays low on this trick, we should just play low to the queen. So let's cross to a red ace, lead a club. East is going to play the singleton king. Who could have guessed? And we're going to play low. But I think if East had played a low club here, it's probably correct to play the queen. I wonder if they address that in the show solution. We'll see. Again, the percentages are very close, and I don't think that you getting this problem right or wrong really matters, but as long as you're off to the right idea. Okay, show solution. Let's see what they say. South should duck West's spade opening lead. When West continues, it's safe to win the ace, as East is marked with only 2 spades by West's weak 2-bid. What a time to be alive, 1945. Bridge was different back in those days. We only need 4 club tricks to make the contract. It may seem that South should guard against West having a singleton king by playing the ace on the first round. Leading the ace play will not work when East has a singleton king, as West will have a certain club entry to cash his spades. To guard against both possibilities, okay, they don't take into account 4-0 club splits. South crosses to dummy, leads a club. If East plays the king, South ducks. If East follows low, South plays the ace. This is the thing that I'm really not certain about. Ooh, oh my god, actually it's worse, right? Because if we play the queen of clubs, we don't have enough entries to lead towards the ace-10 twice. Oh no. This is much worse. Okay, now going back to the start of the hand, it's still unclear to me if playing to guard against 4-0 clubs or 3-1 is better. I don't know. Whatever. The 2 lines of play are close. They decide that this one is what they want you to go with. Just to notice this possibility of like stiff king on side. On to board 25. King of hearts lead against 7 spades. Well, another math problem. We have to decide what's more likely. 3-3 clubs and no diamond finesse, or the diamond finesse and West having 4 clubs. So the king of hearts marks West with the heart queen from the opening lead. No bidding by the opponents. So let's pull trumps. No reason not to. I have miscounted the trumps. Maybe I should be taking a quick pause. Once we get to the end of the Bs, maybe we'll take a quick pause and do something silly for a little while before I start on level C. Right. Yeah, so the basic idea here is that if clubs are 3-3, which will happen 36% of the time, we can just pitch both of our red suit losers. We don't need any finesses. The alternative is, because we know West has the queen, or the queen of hearts. Wait, if the diamond hook wins, we're just cold. Oh my god. I need, like... This is going well. Don't worry about me. I'm having a good time. God. So we can make if clubs are 3-3 no matter what, and we can also make if the diamond hook works no matter what. We can just like test the clubs and then take a diamond finesse. There's like, I guess, a small extra chance to make by like running the spade suit. So we could play for some sort of squeeze. Let me think about this for a second. Ooh. Okay, I think I've hit upon the right line of play, which I actually like. Mostly because it doesn't require taking a diamond finesse. I very much approve of not taking a diamond finesse in general. All right. I guess first things first, let's imagine that the Jack of Hearts was in dummy. If the Jack of Hearts was in dummy, we could play for something a little bit unusual, but it would effectively revolve around us having the option of squeezing West in hearts and diamonds. We could cash all of our tricks coming down to a 2-card end position where North has the Jack of Hearts and a diamond, and we have Ace Queen of diamonds. So we've seen that kind of like simple squeeze before. We would have to guess, right, like whether to take the diamond finesse or play for West to have come down to Singleton King later, but that's a possibility. But I think our plan is mostly going to revolve around this concept of like, if clubs are 3-3 or the King of Diamonds is an East hand, we make the contract. And we can add a small extra little chance to that where West might actually get squeezed in hearts and clubs. And we can do everything. So how's this going to work? Well, what happens if we just play 5 rounds of spades right now? We can discard a heart, a club, and a diamond from North's hand. So we're down to 5 cards. We have the Jack of Hearts, the Ace Queen of Diamonds, and 2 small clubs. Well, if West started with long clubs, they would have to be completely out of diamonds, right? They would have the Queen of Hearts remaining and 4 clubs to protect the club suit. They would have no diamonds. We could then cash the Ace of Diamonds and West would get squeezed in clubs and hearts. So we're actually going to make it anyway if East has the King of Diamonds in this case, because West would therefore be getting squeezed in clubs and hearts. But what happens if West doesn't have the King of Diamonds and doesn't have the long clubs? Well, that's going to give East the Jack, 4th of clubs, and the King of Diamonds. So once again, we've come down to this 5-card end position after running spades. East has Jack, 4th of clubs. They can only have 1 diamond, which is the King. So when we cash the Ace of Diamonds, East Singleton King falls. If neither of those things happen, then we'll just have to test the clubs and hope they run. This is going to be a double squeeze, is basically what this is. I mean, it's not really a double squeeze. We don't know the location of the Diamond King, and we don't know that both opponents are guarding clubs, or what's going on in the club suit, but that's basically going to be our line of play. And for the most part, we don't need to think about anything. We just need to watch for the King of Diamonds and the Queen of Hearts. There's a club discard. We play the Ace of Diamonds now. Queen of Hearts was discarded, so now we can just cash the Jack of Hearts, and dummy is good. But it looks like West ultimately got squeezed in clubs and hearts. And we still make, while not needing to take the foolish diamond finesse. Cool. 26. These introductory squeeze hands are a little bit easier to work out. Once chat starts talking about politics, that's when I know I need to like really focus up. Otherwise, I'm going to get ambushed with questions. We're in 6 spades. No bidding. 10 of diamonds lead. Well, I guess let's see what happens at trick 2. They continue a diamond. Okay. So we technically have 3 entries to dummy, and we could prepare a little bit earlier in the play here for the possibility of a trump coup against East if they happen to have Jack 4th of spades. We're always going to make the contract if spades are 3-2, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But to prepare for the trump coup, we're going to need to kind of do a little bit of prep work. So first we're going to play a club to the ace and ruff a club. And then we're going to play the ace of spades and a spade to the king. Not a spade to the king and a spade to the ace, or a spade to the king and ruff a club. We want to do things in this order, because if the trumps split, we don't need to worry about continuing to ruff clubs in our hand. That would be unnecessarily risky. Clubs could be 6-2, and West might get an over ruff with the jack of spades. So then we would just cross back to our hand in hearts, pull the last trump, and move on with our lives. But when we go ace of spades, spade to the king, now we find out East has 4 trumps. We can ruff a club, and then we've ruffed 2 clubs. We're down to the same number of trumps as East, and then there will be one small extra caveat towards the end of the hand, but we'll talk about that when we get there. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. So we'll see if West shows out on the spade trick. They do. Okay, that's good. Now we can ruff the 3rd club, and here we are, right? So normally the way these trump coups work is that we want to use dummy's last entry at trick 11. That will leave us in dummy at trick 12 to lead towards our hand. But here we can be a bit more careful, because East might be roughing the 3rd round of diamonds, and we're always going to need East to follow to 3 rounds of hearts. So what we can do instead is play the king, queen of hearts, and overtake the jack. And now we're in dummy at trick 11, not trick 12, and we might think, oh, this is bad, but when we lead a high heart, East is in trouble. If East roughs, we've kind of executed our trump coup early. The queen of diamonds is a winner after we pull trumps. If East doesn't ruff, our 10 of hearts is a winner, and so we can pitch our queen of diamonds, and then we're in dummy at trick 12 as desired. So a little bit of extra care here, knowing that we need East to have at least 3 hearts to pull this off. It was irrelevant that East happened to have 4 hearts in this case. We kind of talked through why that was true. But we made our contract. Way to go, us. Board 27. Oh my god. that joke. I just looked at chat. Oh boy. It's a good one, though. It's a good one. We got to 6 hearts on the, completely standard normal auction that everyone would reach 6 hearts via. So king of diamonds opening lead. Huh. Well, I mean, if trumps split, then we're good. If trumps don't split, what's our plan? Like, what happens if I ruff a diamond, play the ace queen of hearts to see if trumps split, because if they do, we're great. When they don't, I cross in spades, ruff another diamond, attempt to cross in spades again, and if that works, I just go king of hearts heart. I pull all the trumps, we lose our trump trick, but I've ruffed 2 diamonds, and I have 2 more discards on the long spades. That feels like a pretty good line of play to me. I make on any 3-2 heart split, and I make against 4-1 heart breaks as long as the player with 4 hearts has at least 2 spades. Maybe there's better, but that feels like a pretty strong line of play, and I think once I saw that at the table, I would just happily go with it. Taking one more look to see if there's another consideration here. I don't know. I mean, that feels pretty great. All right, let's just do it. King of diamonds, we ruff. Let me guess, hearts are not breaking. Oh no. Spade to the queen, ruff a diamond. Spade to the jack. It wasn't until this moment I realized that I was always cold. If East had ruffed, they would have to lead a minor, we win, and then we pull the last trump. I'm losing my mind. But now that we've successfully entered North's hand, we can proceed with our plan. King of Hearts, heart. We've pulled all the trumps and both of our minor suits are protected. What am I doing? Alright, we came up with the right line of play. We mistakenly thought that we were going down against this layout, but obviously we were just making it. Cool, cool. Well played by me. I definitely didn't do anything wrong there. On to number 28. We're in 6 no trump. We get a diamond lead, and we win the first trick. Wonderful. East has preempted 3 diamonds. Oh boy. So I'm wondering if West is gonna get like stepping stone squeezed somehow. Let me think about the potential end position that happens if we just play 4 rounds of clubs right now. I mean, we can definitely afford to test the heart suit. If hearts are 3-2, we're okay. If hearts are 4-1, though, we just don't have enough tricks yet. But West might come under some pressure if we run clubs. I think to simplify things, I'm going to cash the King, Queen of Hearts. This isn't really necessary, but it's going to give us a little bit more information so that we can then think about what to do from here. Okay, East does show out, so we know West has 4 hearts. And just to simplify the end position a little bit, I'm going to cash the Ace King of Spades so that we can think about people holding fewer cards in their hand. So now what happens if I play 4 rounds of clubs and pitch, say, a diamond? West is going to have to come down to 4 cards because that's how many cards we have in our hand. Well, if they ever discard a heart, we can take the rest of the heart tricks. If they ever discard a spade, we can take the rest of the spade tricks. And otherwise, they're going to be down to 2 hearts and 2 spades. But then we can unblock the Jack of Hearts and play Queen of Spades, spade. They get thrown in, and our Ace of Hearts is the last trick. So this is what's known as a stepping stone squeeze. We use West's spade winner as a stepping stone to the stranded Ace of Hearts and dummy at trick 13. We're going to need to count East's shape a little bit, because if it turns out spades are 3-3, then we're going to need to cash the Queen of Spades at a later point in play. So East has already turned up with 1 heart and 2 spades. We can now see how many clubs East has. 3 clubs, therefore West does have 4 spades, and when we play the Jack of Clubs, West pitches a diamond. Now the stepping stone has worked correctly. So we can try the Queen of Spades, unblock the Jack of Hearts, and exit a spade to West, who's down to just major suit cards. It's a cute little hand. Sometimes these stepping stone squeezes will come up in situations where a normal squeeze would have worked if you were able to rectify the count. Like imagine if East had won the ace of diamonds and played a diamond back, then we would be in a situation that we're all familiar with where we can just run the club suit and West gets squeezed in the majors. But the fact that West had like that extra diamond floating around for quite some time, the count wasn't rectified, so we had to perform a little bit of a more fancy squeeze to make the contract here. All right, on to B29. What was the auction? 1 no, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 6 no. Of course it was. Great bidding. We get the Jack of Hearts lead, which is interesting that 9 of Hearts could come into play. I mean, Jack normally would be from like a holding of Jack 10. East plays low. We'll win the queen. Okay. So we have a heart, we have 4 clubs, 4 diamonds, and 2 spades. Don't really have any method of setting up an extra trick without letting the opponents in, and if we do that, they're going to be able to cash a couple of hearts. So, again, kind of similar to the previous deal, if East had won the ace of hearts and returned a heart, the situation would be prime for us to just run our minor suit tricks and squeeze West if they have 4 spades and the 10 of hearts. They would get squeezed in the major suits. But because that didn't happen, we're going to have to somehow squeeze West without the count in the majors. And I think we're able to do that. So let's imagine what happens if we take 4 diamonds and then play off 4 rounds of clubs, first discarding a spade from dummy, and then on the very last club, we're going to be down to a 5-card end position. We'll have 3 spades, the king of hearts, and a club. We're going to have ace, king, third of spades, and the 9 doubleton of hearts and dummy. Well, West is going to be down to 3 spades, hopefully having started with at least 4 cards in that suit, and the 10 doubleton of hearts. What can they do when we play the last club from their hand? If they discard down to the singleton 10 of hearts, we can actually just exit the king of hearts out of our own hand, pinning the 10, and setting up the 9 and dummy. And if instead they discard a spade, we can pitch a heart and then play ace, king, and another spade, and hopefully take 3 tricks that way. So again, we're going to need to do a little bit of guesswork about what West's shape is as we run our tricks, but hopefully we'll figure out what's going on as we play some of the cards. And I imagine because these are teaching deals, the opponents are going to make things easy for us in their discards. They're just going to basically show us exactly what their shape looks like. So West started with 1 diamond. They've pitched a bunch of clubs. We can now run the club suit. West throws a heart. Now throws a spade. And now on the jack of clubs, they pitch another heart. This could be a clever false card. Maybe West started with 5 hearts, but in that case, the squeeze just wasn't working in the first place. So, you know, because then West would have started with, what is it? 4 clubs, 1 diamond, 5 hearts, and only 3 spades. There would have been no squeeze. So we can kind of ignore that possibility and just pitch a spade. We now exit the king of hearts, pinning the 10, and dummy is high. We did need, in this scenario, for East not to have a 5-card minor. Otherwise, when they got in with that ace of hearts at the end of the hand, we were forced to cash all of our minor suit cards. They could have been left with an extra club or diamond that they could take and defeat the contract. But here we are. Kind of a cool squeeze. I mean, some of these things, again, I would say that I'm kind of familiar with this idea, but this isn't one of those squeezes that I know the name of or that I've like memorized or something like that. You just want to get practice with working out possible end positions and thinking about what cards people can hold on to. So that's kind of a cool hand. 2 spades by East, 3 hearts, pass 4 hearts. We get the king of clubs lead. I bet they're going to get a club ruff. Who opened 2 spades? East did. Cool. King of clubs, ace of clubs, club ruff. Oh no, now we might have a diamond loser. What do we do about that? So this is going to be another cool type of squeeze that we haven't seen before. This one I think is a fairly common and straightforward position. But we know the count in the spade suit. So how can we possibly make this hand? East has turned up with 2 clubs. Let's pull trumps and see how many hearts East has, just so that we can get a better picture of what's going on. East only has 1 heart. Well, that means that our, the straightforward alternative of losing no diamond tricks, of going ace king of diamonds, hoping to drop a queen doubleton somewhere, is just not going to happen, right? East has at most 4 diamonds. East has exactly 4 diamonds, right? They have 6 spades, 2 clubs, 1... Oh, they turned up with 2 hearts. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. They ruffed once and they followed to the second round of the suit. Yeah, so East has 3 diamonds, exactly. I suppose in a weird world, if East only has 5 spades, they would have 4 diamonds, but either way, that means Queen Doubleton isn't falling. We're going to have to rely on some sort of squeeze, but how could we possibly squeeze East in spades and diamonds when they're going to be able to discard after we discard from dummy? Well, this is going to turn up what's known as a trump squeeze. And it's going to require us to count out the hand, but we should have a pretty good sense as to what East shape is based on our, we've seen East cards in all of the other suits, and the 2 spade preempt kind of marks them with 6 of them. It is important that West doesn't have any more than 1 spade remaining. So what's going to happen is we want to cash a number of hearts and come down. ATN says this is kind of similar to a crisscross squeeze, but there's a couple of important differences. So I guess I'm going to come down to the end position and then discuss the end position a little bit, because this one is not obvious. And I think a lot of people who are familiar with some of the previous squeezes we've looked at, like simple squeeze, double squeeze, some of these squeezes without the count, even board 29, this is going to have a bit of a different flavor to it. So the end position we're going to reach is we're going to cash another heart. East pitches a 2nd spade. We're going to cash another heart, pitch a spade. East also does. And now, I guess before I play to this trick, let's think about what East has left in their hand. They played 1 round of spades and they've discarded 3 times. They have 2 spades left. So they have queen third of diamonds. Well, if I play the 10 of spades, or 10 of hearts, and pitch a spade, for example, from dummy, East pitches a spade, I play the 9 of hearts, pitch another spade, East pitches a spade, they still have queen third of diamonds, they take a trick. The difficult part here is that the spade threat is kind of in the wrong hand. But because we have the trump suit, we have a little bit of an extra opportunity to do something a little bit strange. So maybe I will play the next trick, and then we can think about what East can do. We're going to lead the 10 of hearts, and we're going to discard a diamond from the dummy. So remember, East has 2 spades left. West only has 1 spade remaining. And East has queen third of diamonds. When I discard the diamond from dummy, if East pitches a spade, both opponents only have 1 spade. We can lead a diamond to the ace, ruff a spade, which sets up the 5, and then cross back to the king of diamonds to take our last spade trick. If instead East pitches a diamond, then we play the ace king of diamonds because we expect East to have queen third. Thanks, Brad. Yes, if I discarded my lowest spot card diamond, which would be the 1, we might actually go down here. But there we go. So East has actually made our life a little bit easy by pitching a spade. Now we basically know that the spades are coming home. So we cross to the diamond ace, rough out the spades, cross to the diamond king, and the 5 of spades is a winner. This is known as a trump squeeze, and as ATN pointed out, it's kind of similar to like a crisscross squeeze. We looked at this thing where like two suits were blocked facing each other. But here the important thing is we need multiple entries to the hand with the suit that we're planning to rough out. Like if we had ace third of diamonds opposite king third, or opposite like king 10 third, for example, and we were playing someone for queen jack in the suit, this squeeze would not have worked out. Because we could squeeze them down to a singleton and cross to the hand, and then rough spade's good, but we wouldn't have an extra entry back to north. So you kind of need to block the suit, because that's going to somehow let the mechanism function that the trump squeeze works with. But you're also going to need two entries to that hand so that you can rough the other suit good and eventually get back there.